Hello, today is Monday, 23rd of September 2019. Let's take a look at the shit coins, or primarily that. Bitcoin, well, that'll be a different video. Maybe later today, maybe tomorrow. All right, first one, Go Chain. And amongst this on the daily term, the how you want to draw this in, I guess, one way, like the rate, the capitulation decline. And then you have your sort of gradual rate of decline to the bottom, at least as of now, because one, two, three hit and a good duration of time. As far as where it's been, where we're going, well, we're in this up little move here, but been here, been here, been here, been here a couple times, congesting in here, supporting it down in here. Okay, well, there's a story as far as that's, and we take a look at this on the daily chart. It brings that interesting point. I got a yellow arrow here because to me, getting to that point, that's when I think it's going to be worth looking at. I don't have any sell orders there. My sell orders are much north of this level because as I look at this market from where we came from in this low, we have this data. You need to see it better on the shorter term, and we'll look at 8 hour, 3 hour, and 1 hour, or whatever to make sure we can see it. But that particular candle, so interesting little suspect here. Okay, what's it done since? Comes back to the 18 highs after having a good extension where it resisted this area where it came from on multiple times. And then after doing that, what it didn't do was it didn't come back to the deep end of where it came from, but it did have what looked to be the area of that 61.8% down move. And from a point A move, whether it be up or down, 61.8% just, I mean, you can give back a lot of it, more than half, but once you start to give back that little bit more, then you start looking at it as that failed move. So the rally in here never has yet, it doesn't show any failure at all. And its statement, of course, is breaking out, excitation of the 18. Then you have a pause day. You follow a pause day up with this green candle with an attempt to break out, but we can see this high, noticeably lower than this high. And then the next high after that breaks it, which was yesterday, as the price goes up to 133. And now today we can see this continue follow through. This is a strong setup as far as how I would deem this. And I want to trade this on an aggressive level. Basically look for not to sell until we have a nice break, like above 140. That's how I'm playing it, at least for today, into this, at least as this run is going on right now. Because the strength that this is showing via that of the 18 average of highs, to me, is pretty darn near good. Let's take a look at this next via the 1/3 day, or that of the hourly time frame. So that move that I was talking about that you'd want to see more clearly was this one here. Now this one here, we can see when it had its rally, this is why I guess you can say there's no clear thing on technical analysis. If it doesn't hold the 61.8, it's a for sure failed move, because from this low to this high, 61.8 probably somewhere around here, which we can obviously see resisted it for a good duration of time. But ultimately, this worked out to be that of a failed move below that little area where it should have stopped going down. Because if you're going to bullishly go here to here, well, then going down is to this before going back up. And of course, it just went a little bit deeper and for a good amount of time on top of that as well. So therefore, on the next one, this one in here, comes back down to this 18 highs, and we can see how it leaves it here, brings up towards this area, spending some more higher time above this area, but still having another pullback. So a lot of the volatility, and that's been the name of the game for quite some time on this for the last little while, with a lot of these nice up and down moves, as there has been so many in here available on whichever creative way you can figure out to trade this. There's a plethora. There are multiple handfuls of options to be able to profitably have good success trading these markets that move amongst this manner. So in viewing the 3 hour term, we can see in this move here again, 18 successful, and here's that major play. For if you were looking in here saying, I'm seeing strength at the 18 highs, oh, what does that mean? Well, it means that it's going to go well above, have a big break above it, and well, that was pretty fast, and that's where it went to. It hasn't been there since. But what's happened since, though, support matches up here, and after you have the since, then you have the after. We have the previous period, having two consecutive ones, ending in here, getting above the 18 average of highs, but closing amongst there. And 58 minutes and 51 seconds remain on a 3 hour time frame. That's 2/3 of the way through. So we're comfortably this period pausing it, consolidating, and when you have a good move of either bullishly or bearishly like that, and then you just hang in there, or in the downside, down move, and then you just hang in there. That's digesting the move, and it's not reacting on a negative basis, at least at this point. So therefore, you say, okay, so now what I see is we got this short-term high in here. If I take a look at these shorter-term time frames, then I'm going to be looking to try to find setups with the market trying to get above this level. And then if I see a situation where it does that, well, that could work out to a very good spot, a very good situation. Just as good of a situation as I think the Montreal Canadiens have tonight, facing off against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Just a quick little plug. A game I did about 10 minutes research on, and it's a very strong selection. I think if I did more, it would probably even become stronger than that. Montreal is a very small favorite. At home to the Toronto Maple Leafs, not many familiar names will be playing for the Leafs. A few familiar names will be playing for the Canadiens. That's an off-subject topic. But it can be traded. It can be bet within cryptocurrency, so it can be part of. It's all about the game and how you play it. Okay, 15-minute time frame, so we can see that we had a lot of resistance in here, and that we were looking at getting above this high. So therefore, that high is all of this stuff in here. And for this situation now, I can take a look at it as, and let me just put a little rectangular situation. That was the general range in which it was in. And it had a good trading time in that. For it came up there on September 22nd in the very early morning, and really not leaving that area until that afternoon of that day. So a lot of opportunities then to trade everywhere in the 120s, and even decent amount of times at 124, 125 and above, even up to 130 on 3 different occasions. So that was how it was. So it spent a lot of congestion time in there. And after that, it had relatively a decent time below this, but this is almost looking trappy to me. If you had this range falter, because what happened was this broke down below key support. Now, the abnormality on this is how not fast, this is a concise move to key support. It took a while to get there. And then it had a concise time correction. It wasn't that slow. Or was that slow? It wasn't that fast, really. And then it took a while to get up here in a concise rally, which continued this trend above that level. So that these boxes usually happen maybe a little faster. Either way, it's been consolidating and staying in this level. It's established this short-term resistance, but for what it's worth, we're only in the first half of this range. We haven't even attempted much to do and go in the second half. And because it hasn't attempted too much, that's why on a break of this resistance, all I see is that it moved to this level, hence the reason why I have my alert at 130. Because if I see it at that number, that means I realize that yes, there could be a level of resistance, But at that stage, I can also set it up live to be available because my predicted event is that it's less likely to have resistance of good fashion. Meaning, if I'm going to be selling here, that means I'm going to be selling it for one of my other altcoins. I'll sell it for Bitcoin and then I'll buy whatever else that I'm buying it with, like Litecoin or Theta or whatever else it may be. But I want to do that if I'm confident one of two things are going to happen. A, this price will go down enough where I can now I can sell whatever it is I bought, even if it's at a small loss, break even, whatever. So say if I buy something at 1500 Satoshi, or whatever, say the other coin's 1500 that I buy because this goes up, and then this goes back down, and the other coins went down to 1490 or something tiny. I'll just sell it at 1490, then buy this back at whatever lower price. But I need a good, decent reduction. If I'm selling at 130, I'm not going to want to buy back until at least down to about here. So I don't really think that's going to happen. And now, if I'm confident on another coin is bullish that I'm going to buy into it, then maybe I might do that because if this can hang in there or have a smaller decline and the other coin starts that I buy goes up from that point on, well, the ratio will work itself out for me at that point. So that's why I decided that I think the best play is just wait to sell north of this. But what I totally believe, and every time I say this, it's pretty much been right every single time when it happens, is that, and I haven't said it much lately, is when you break a key level, I find this general area here mistake zone. It's a mistake to sell in here. Because if it's going to get past this resistance, I think on a conservative level, we're at least going to 140, 141. And that's conservative. So I don't understand why you would sell at 135, 136 when you're probably just moments away and your order should already be in if you already as it is to sell at 141, 142. I got my order at 140 something, then again around 200 or 300, 250, whatever. I got two sell orders ready. And then I got a bunch on my where I have the private key. In order for me to get my coins outside of Binance, I have to put my private key in, and then I can send them. But that's the key word on it, private key. Now, I said I was going to only talk about shitcoins, and I don't consider this that, but well, definitely not Litecoin. Interesting pattern on the 15. I kind of think that this has just a quick little thing before I go to the next planned subject as it got above it's on the 3 hour. Back in here, if you see this go above the 749, that's a very bullish situation, especially after this has hit the 18 like this. But now on to the next one, which is Theta. And I don't even consider calling it such, but I can see why other people would. Or if I didn't do any research on this coin, why I would call it that myself. But these are the coins that have the volatility. It hasn't been too volatile lately, and it's been in the lower end of this range. So in the situations like I'm talking about, oh, do I think Theta is going to go up anytime soon? No. So I don't want to go for Theta at that ratio when I don't see that happening, when I know I can get a better price. And the ratio has been interestingly volatile. I've been getting some good trades of better proportions lately because of the Go volatility. As we can see here, it's at 8 and 2/3 or 8 and 3/5 in that area. Both run the same. Major support was in play right here. Hit pretty much once here on the way up on July 28th. August the 16th, again here, and then again here. Almost here, but obviously we failed it at this point. So looking at the spots for this, I think I could play for a big play on this, especially because there's just a lot of people are looking at this. You got to figure the amount of participants that are trading this exact cross together would be at least one person. But with that being said, these things will still work out like a lot of the other ones end up playing. Of course, the volatility of these moves is what I admire or what I'm looking for. This low to this high. But even before, whenever you can have these situations take place, well, that's phenomenal. Well, we can already see this day there was a spot to buy down here and sell back up top. This day had some volatility, but I shorten it out. I'm going to put the line back in where it was because I'm going to want to have it there for that being a key spot. And let's just go right to the 3. And there we have some of the moves in here. 786 in here. And this is at 2 o'clock in the morning, September 22nd. And 9 and 2/3, 950 at September 22nd at 20 hours. So early, almost 24 hours later, less than 1 day, it has a move where it goes up like 20 something percent. And fortunately for me, I've been able to get some of these key levels as I'm going to remove the drawing tools and just show where some of the last trades were. And for September anyway, the last one I got in at was at 935, which was pretty much up towards in this high. Before that, on the same day, which was yesterday, 788, right at the low. That was a nice one. But that was the one I had to sell order at the exact high though. I happen to have it just worked. I mean, that was lucky, and I'm literally mean that. A lot of times I'll say stuff, oh that was luck, and I'm sarcastic. No, it was luck that I did hit my seller at the 133 level on go, and then I just used it for theta. Then before the play at 788 was 1006. So what a drop going from 1006 to 788. That was good volatility. And I was able to get a good chunk amount, decent for it. So a higher shared trade size than normal. And same thing on the flip back side to 935. So I wouldn't mind seeing this come back down below, well below in here. If not even at least down to this previous low for the next ratio trade flop. And then before that, it was 1006 and 1156. So 1006 in here, 1156 somewhere before there. But you can just see just 1170, just chopping back and forth. And not the biggest of moves overall, but enough. We're going from, say, 1170 to 1050. It's the difference of the highest and lowest number. So a buck 20, that's like barely over 10%. 930 to 1050, that's a buck 20, that's like 13%. 930 to 1045, that's like a buck 20, that's like 14%. 1040 to 1150, that's like 10% flat. 10 to like 1156, that's like 11%. And then of course 788 to 10, well that's a differential of 218. So 218 on 70, that's like 30%. And then 788 to 935, that's a differential of one full dollar plus 35 plus 12, so that's 147. And that's about 20%. So the volatility gear has kicked it up a notch, and I want to play to the message of the market and the volatility that's there for me. And it's not magnificent. In fact, it's been shitty lately. It's flat out sucked for a long time. For what crypto should offer. The game itself is awesome, as it is still, even with the shitty volatility that has been going on. But but you have to level it's where it is now, and it's went up just a small degree. Whatever rating you had, increase its power rankings just a little bit. We're not at the stage yet where like yeah, I kind of confidently think that this thing is going to have 30, 40, 50% flips in like no time at all, and rabbit speed. Rabbit speed? I just thought of that quickly. It's probably or hair. I was thinking hair, and then I changed it to rabbit because then it sounded better. I was thinking hair speed in my head when I was thinking that because they can run fast, and that's why there's probably so many of them around. They're around here a lot too. But anyway, back to this cryptos. I still got a lot of stuff, or a little bit of stuff that I want to go over. There's only two more coins, which is three charts because it's going to be a ratio. One, a chart I've never shown before, and one I haven't shown in a while. But yeah. So the one I haven't shown in a while is Raven Coin, and I made a small buy on it yesterday. Its price is 5,000. That's Skycoin, wrong one. Chronological order thing, R and S are beside each other. Price is 332 Satoshi. And it was way up here, and it's way back down to where it pretty much came from down in here. I was looking for a coin that trades well on Bittrex, which means that it's got a good volume. The bid and ask price, I can comfortably take market price, and it's not the worst of things. Because I hate it when you got those markets where there's like a 1% differential or more, even sometimes with the buy bid ask price. And when it's like a 30 30, like let's say something's 30 satoshi, you're at like 3% just between the differential, because it'd be like 30 and 29 or 30 and 31. But this you're gonna get like 332 and 331, or 332 and 333. I'll find it right now probably. It would most likely be 331 and 332 at this time frame. But we can see here in the minute, how often does this trade? 1209. Every minute on here. Well, there was none. Didn't let's see. 1217 it didn't trade. 1219 it didn't trade. So it trades well enough on it. So that's something that was really important to me. Something about its volatility. I want something that has possibility for kick-ass, amazing style type of moves that we can see in like this nature in here. That was very important. It's not like it hasn't happened before again. And if everything comes in threes, and maybe we have here, maybe it's a higher high again. Because you would have said back in here, oh my goodness, how difficult it would be to go to this side. Because when you put into perspective, because before you look at it this now, oh, it's just an impossible task to get up to this high. It's just so far. I mean, even if it comes here, that's going to be amazing if it goes to 1270 or something. Okay. Well, how would you have been thinking before the fact down in here when you were like, and I know this is only 4x, but still, to be able to get to this level, oh, you're here, and then, oh, the blink of an eye, that was just fast, and then you have new highs. And that's exactly what has the potential to happen. This thing could very easily get up to 1600 and then flash there after that. It's at 7,000 or it's in 10,000 or some sort of sick levels. Does it have the potential to do that and have good wild short-term swings like we see on the hourly? Because it's interesting. I received a comment in a video regarding an interesting cryptocurrency sent in a weird way, like, hey man, why don't you have this coin, even though this coin's only been around for like less than a week. Now it's been, which I'm going to show soon. It's like, oh, like I'll look at, and then I don't even know what the tickers. I don't even know what I know it starts with the letter H. I almost got it memorized, but not quite. But it's he's like, why don't you have that? And then not only that, but why wasn't it on your serious money? No, this is shit coins right now. This is funny money, and until otherwise, until I can prove otherwise, all I'm trying to do is trying to play this game to get the big volatility, get the big moves. But a lot of my research with coins was stuff like doing stuff back in the 2016, 2015 days. Is when these coins were early on, and even in a lot of the altcoins period, when they come out early, they can have just the phenomenally sick moves that these trading strategies are better than, they're better than reality, yet they are reality kind of deal. At least they were reality, and they may be again. It's just the volatility back then was phenomenal. And the only way you're going to get those sick ass moves is not with Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash, maybe with one of them, but you need to have them with the real true shit coins. And they can be great, and they can be upgraded later to serious. But I watched a video, but maybe a year or so ago. It was Hidden Secrets of Money in the Bitcoin episode, where the first half I think talked about Bitcoin itself and the cryptocurrencies, how within the banking system, just as we would know it. And then they just happened to talk about the hash graph technology. And I finally found it available to trade yesterday because somebody mentioned it. And well, the ticker symbol is H bar. I was thinking H dash is what I was thinking. Yeah, I haven't got it memorized yet. And yet I bought a small amount of it yesterday, and it was just small. But when I was doing my buy low, sell highs, and just showing back in the day, which was months ago, especially with stuff like DGB and GRS, back in the early days when you had the markets that were early, that you had those sick ass moves where you had like 2x moves up or down on a day, 4x moves even like it was nothing. Does this have the potential for it? Possibly. But as I see this comes out and it sells off right from the get go at 1000, 1018 here. And then you can basically say it was 1000 because it was firmly trading at the beginning here, but it was being sold off. Could this be a scam coin? Maybe. Very easily can. But I made my risk reward ratio to the point where if it is, so be it. That's what happens to gamblers. You win some and you lose some. But when gamblers are doing well, they're losing money of small percentage of previous profits. And all you can do is say, meh, it loses. But when it wins, then it just increases to the numbers. So in that example, when I did DGB and like GRS together, I set it up so that you would start off with what would have been like $1 or two's worth of cryptocurrencies, $3 worth. And then you should have easily moved it up to a six-figure sum. That's how sick it got based on how cryptocurrencies gained and how the volatility of those coins went. Now at this stage right now, I haven't. It's just doing this. It was doing this. So the only real moves is this move to here, this move, this little bit in here. You have this high to this low to this low. You had this hour or hour. You had this low to this high, and there hasn't been any large moves yet. I bought this at like 380 to 390 area, and this thing I figure could very easily be worth 60, 70, 80. But the way I look at it is, if it does, most likely Ravencoin ain't going to be losing like that. I'll just turn Ravencoin into this coin and play the game out. And then if there's ever any of these moves that happen where they just go up, well, then they just go up. Now, whether Hashgraph works out or not, I don't know. I have learned more, I think, from Mike Maloney than anybody else as far as, at least since high school, or college anyway, from any individual. And the reason why I say that is probably there might have only been 2 or 3 teachers I've ever had that might have taught me more, which is and more than that, he's very good in a lot of the information that he talks about. So whether Hashgraph will work or not, I don't know. But when my net holdings coming in is 0% of my portfolio in Hashgraph type of technology, and I can move that up to 0 point whatever percent now because it would be well under 1%, then that's just how it goes. All right then, let's take a look at the ratio with Hashgraph, or the Hedera, I guess, or Hedera. I don't know. It doesn't even matter how it's pronounced because it's all a code. It's almost like they say, oh, with people they give you like a prisoner, you got a number kind of deal. Your inmate number this. Hey, maybe these coins are inmates. No, they're not. Hey, they kind of are. I don't know. But you just are ticker symbol H bar. That's it. You're a code. It's a code. Just like in computers where you have like and this is everything in like inventory, like your products that you buy or everything that you sell, you just simplify it in codes because it's easy for computers. And that's what we live in, a computerized world. And as far as the ratio is concerned, well, it's got the same sort of chart like the H bar does. It's pretty much almost the same. It's pretty much went straight down. I mean, it hasn't been any phenomenal great moves above the 18 yet. I can say it's very due, but just I could say it could happen. It could lose 4 times, 5 times before it happens. And to me, there's 2 cases of a shitcoin. Here's like one little small move above, but all the ratio did here was go from 137 to like 160, which is like 28 points. You're looking at over 20%. And if that's 20%, well, then what's this up here? Well, this up here would, from here to here would be close to 2x, but yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying, that the volatility for this has the potential to do it. And if this is a scam coin, a true shit coin, then what's the chances that before it dies out, that it has failed rallies? And thus I'm able to flip things back and forth and hopefully get to my point where when it does do its end game, we'll call it, then I can at least not come out behind and maybe come out ahead at the same time. I'm looking at one like Mona in GRS and the moves that can it. I mean, we've had these big moves happen in 2017 where if we look back at this is a 3 day, but let's look back at this at like on a 3 hour. So what I can do in here is I can switch it to 3 hour, and I should be able to, as long as my internet's fast enough, and it looks solid right now. Although I am recording two at the same time, which can, but whatever. We're going back to 2017 and just scroll back. Yeah, it's working pretty good. And even the moves that we're seeing in here, but like when you can get situations like this occur, the amount that you can flip up there and flip back, it's just phenomenal what you can do. But what I'm referring to are just even the short-term intracy moves. Uh, like even plays like this, like what's this move in here? You got a very easy price to sell at about 360, going down to like under 290. So that's a 70% differential, or 70.7 on like 2.9. So that worked out to like 30%. Just this little shit move here. And there's several of these types of moves that can occur if you could take advantage of these highs. How this would have been available, that might have been just a quick SPY order that you might have had to have filled. And here we got and see, and this is a 3 hour time frame. So all the opportunities intraday is basically what I'm referring to and what I want to show here. So what's the volatility on this move? We have a high of like 4.5. We have a low at about 3.5, so a differential of 1. That's again about 30 percentile differential. And then the quick move in here, and this the entire move to go from this break of support at 4 2/9 down to 1 1/3. And then to get it right back to that level of resistance in a matter of less than 2 weeks. And then the key moves, well, you got this key, then this key high to this key low, and along the way there was like this move here kind of deal. So this high to this low, 125, against that's better than 2x in here, better than double. This move in here, well, we got 242, a low down to 184. So that's like 30 something percent just there. This high to this low is a little bit better than that. And then moves like this in here. Oh, this failed move like this didn't need to happen. I mean, what was the whole point of this? The market could have just did this, went sideways, and then went up like that. And it didn't even need to have this high in here. But if you're able to get down there, the price in here was near 5, breaking down from 8 intraday. Okay. And this one here, we got well, the move itself breaks support at 716 and it goes down to 2. This is like intra-week moves kind of deal. This is stuff that happens over a period of a few days, 70 hours, 50 hours kind of deal. And then you go from 2 to 4.4, back down to 3.1. And we're still, this is 30% just here. This is 30% now. This period here itself, just the intraday move of the high to low, 5, and the low number being 385. This is the sick volatility. This is where you need to day trade in moves like times like this. It's just what you can do on the 1 minute time frame and 5 minute time frame and stuff like that can be just phenomenally amazing. And all of these up and down choppy moves along the way when the market's just neutral. So you have this long period in here where the market just goes sideways, and I don't like, okay, there, let's go. When the market goes sideways, well, the low is 720, the high of the range is like 1070, differential is like 3.5, that's near 50% from the lowest and the highest points. So many opportunities, and this is all coming from all of this stuff in here. So now we're in May of 2017. I mean, this is not that long amount of a time. This is a portion of a year. But the move in here is 422 going up to like almost 16. That's about 3.5 times gain. And then all of these up and down choppy moves. So going from here to 6 up to 870. So many opportunities to just flip back and forth. So the profit potential you can get when markets do stuff like that, which is why I refer to this chart and why I end up getting like Hashgraph and Ravencoin, whatever the H spot is called. I forget the name of it. You should know it better than me by now. But the uh, the reason why I think it's got that potential to have this type of wild, sick movement when you're in key right positional times. Moving back even further. I mean, you look at these back up and down moves in here. You can be just playing around, getting 20, 30 trades a day at like 4, 5, 6% moves. There's just so many opportunities available within it. This high here comes in at like 440. This low at like 240. This low at like 160. You're just getting phenomenal moves. And now we're at March of 2017. When you have moves like this in here, what do you got? Well, we in here we had a support of like 540 and resistance at like 5 or 610. Okay, the differential there is about 12%. See, this is one of those times where like, yeah, you just wait for the price to get there. Say, for example, maybe you sold on the way up here at 6, so now you're waiting for it to go above 7 or even well above 7, maybe 7.5 or 7:30. Well, this would have been February 13th, and now this like you go like 2 weeks, maybe don't even trade at all. So like that's one of the key points that we can easily. We are in a lot of those bad. We're not so wild like shit bad volatility as far as it being low. But cryptos is so big, low volatility is just phenomenal. This intra period crash. I don't know, maybe an hour, maybe a minute, maybe 20 minutes, hour. I don't know. I'm not going to check, but it's going from over 7, and it even makes it easy to trade at 3.5. And maybe you could have got 273 based on your orders or being there at the right time. But it was easy if you were like a little bit late to the show, a few hours late. Next period after that, you were easy to get this number here. So all the opportunities that are available. And in here, this is case of market. This is a case of like probably small Satoshi coins, like 4 Satoshi stuff like that. May I don't know. I'm trying to low volatility for sure. But yeah, just wanted to give you an idea of the stuff that I'm looking for. And this is long now at 40 minutes, so I'm going to conclude it. Thank you for tuning in. Bye bye.